We're live. We're live, my dudes. Hello. Hope everyone's
That's what you think.
Yeah. I think therefore I am. So that is correct. Because I think we're live. I don't know. Hit that F5 if we're not live. But then again, if we're not live, no one would have heard that anyways. If a stream asks you to F5 and no one's listening, did I ever ask you to actually F5?
What?
Exactly. They're always quiet.
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed recently that like I've been peaking like a lot, and like no one's really been telling me, and so I've been like slowly, incrementally turning like my outgoing volume down. Not in Discord, it's like actually like in Windows. Like I turned it down 5 like the other day, and I just turned it down another 5. So I'm hoping I don't sound quite as extreme.
Well, as long as you don't peak, it's fine,
because
as long as you don't peak, I can increase. Because the issue was used to be too loud for me, so I was decreasing you here, but you were probably still peaking. So people are saying Brian, you're off sync with the video, but like I did something I can do. You look fine to me.
Off sync with the video, huh?
Actually, I see a little bit. I see a little bit as well, but we're gonna chalk this up to Skype, everyone. I think it's a fair assumption.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, I see it now too. Huh.
Right?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything we can do about that. That's probably a Skype thing.
Yeah. Well, if we're still soft, I'm gonna turn both of our volumes up.
Brian is testing his old kung fu movie accent. What?
I get that. Oh, I tech I understand that.
What does that even mean?
Old kung fu movies are all dubbed, and the dub is always like slightly delayed because they do it like real time when they dub it with the lines. Because
clever.
Yeah, because replaying things was annoying. So as soon as the guy would start talking, he'd start talking immediately after. Okay, I'm gonna turn my volume a little bit up. Turn Brian's volume a little bit up. How are we now? How are we now?
Hopefully
better. I don't know.
Good. Wait, did Nathan change his name?
Yeah, he's Teha Types now because he's too good to be Field G. He's trying to be a legitimate brand.
Fair enough.
He's going legit. He's going legit.
Good for you, Nathan.
Yeah, right?
You are legit. You deserve to be legit.
Exactly.
You deserve to be too legit to quit. I don't know how it goes. I don't remember the hand signals.
People were complaining Field G Hood music too hard to type, so Teha Types was what you changed it to, so it'd be easier.
Yeah, so now no one can say it correctly.
I guess so. I don't know. I just put at feel, and then like you were there. Because I felt you. Speaking of things to feel, I feel not actually great. I feel like I'm getting sick this week. But at least it's Thursday. How are you doing, Brian?
I am doing pretty darn good. I am hopefully not getting sick. So that will be nice for me, hopefully. Although I'm surprised I haven't started getting sick yet, because my roommate has been like so sick. He's at like death's door basically for the last week.
Oof.
I'm like, I don't understand how I haven't gotten this yet, but I'm not going to question it. So, knock on wood.
Yeah, my whole family was sick last week, and then they're all getting better now. Now I'm like on the decline, so
it's weird how that works.
We'll see indeed. Speaking of things we will see, we're gonna see quite a bit of news today. We got some interesting things, quite a few interest checks, as well as an interesting name to check for the keycap news. And for the keyboard news, we have some more interest checks for some more projects coming soon, especially from the Chinese designers and an American one. And for the other news, what actually one of the most filled out other news sections we have this week, with some interesting Switch talk, interesting Switch modification talk, and interesting possible Switch wars that are going to be taking place in the world of the stars. But that will come in the news section. Let's hit that intro. Teaser intros. teaser intros.
Wait, really? Hold on. See this?
No, that was in terms of like talking it out.
Oh.
You know, giving people like the what's up, what's coming. Oh yeah, I realized the intro video is probably like super loud, huh? My bad, guys.
My ears. Whoops.
Whoops.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. You probably deserved it, though. Let's be honest here. But as Huey did say, we do have a very filled out news doc today. It's going to be there's a lot of very interesting things going on this week. A lot of really interesting things. So it'll be a good time. Let's go with a little bit of mail call before we roll into the news, though. Huey, I know you got an amazing package in this week.
Ooh, it's
and I know you've been hyped as hell.
Hyped as hell. Okay, it's something kind of long, something kind of hard, and I'm ready to insert it if you know what I mean. It's a 7U spacebar from GMK.
Oh boy, that is indeed long. It's indeed hard, and you should be slapping that all around things.
So a lot of you guys may remember last week for news call, I got my DCS Twilight in. If you guys saw my Instagram, I posted a really good Instagram pic of it on my Real Force, and I was actually like got surprisingly a lot of likes for some reason. But I realized like as I was putting it on, I'm like, oh yeah. For some reason, PMK doesn't include a 7U spacebar in their Win keyless kit.
Good on you, PMK.
Good on you, PMK. It's a separate, you buy the 7U as an individual key. That's it. So...
I unfortunately don't have quite as exciting of a mail call this week, but I did get some switches in that I got to try out for the first time. User Spinny Steve was kind enough to ship me some of Exclusive's orange switches, and I haven't put them in a board yet, but I have been playing around with them, and they feel pretty good. They feel like a Gateron linear. The stem is a very beautiful orange color, though.
It's like sunrise or sunset orange, basically.
Yeah, the color is like really, really quite nice. I also got in some TTC black switches, and those actually feel like they have quite a bit of potential. I'm really excited to put those on a board. They feel relatively smooth. They feel pretty stable. I'd say as much as like a nice retooled black, in fact. So pretty excited to put those on a board as well.
Awesome.
All right, then.
Awesome. Do you any clue what boards those are going to be going in yet, or still kind of a toss-up? Well, are you going to like desolder, put it in something else, or are you going to have like a future build ready?
So one thing I'm waiting on right now is that Win keyless Tofu 60%.
Oh.
That has the hot swap PCB, and that is supposed to be shipping like anytime now. So probably gonna use that as kind of like a break-in board for switches, since it has the hot swappable PCB and integrated plate. So I think that's going to be a pretty good platform to just throw in switches to try to break in, what have you, even as like a lube tray, basically. Anyways, Olivia and Albert, thank you very much for the subs. You guys are awesome for 11 and 10 months in a row, respectively.
Thank you.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty good experiences for both, to be honest. I have the TCC blacks actually right here in my Viper that I was before the show putting my DCS Twilight on.
You have the TCC blacks in there?
Yeah.
Nice. How do you feel about them so far?
I really like them. I think they're already they're pretty good stock TBH for the Viper. And I think once I break them in maybe for another probably gonna be 2 weeks because I'm breaking in other boards at the same time, and I might have other switches coming in for other things. Hint, hint. It might take a while before I actually get to lubing them, but I think they have probably some of the most potential from a stock switch I've seen for a while. At least unexpectedly, they're unexpectedly good. I'll say that much.
Yeah, especially for how cheap they were too.
Yeah. Same with the exclusive GATs. I had them on my X60 before I put creams on it. I still have them all desoldered. I'm gonna lube all of them up, and I'm actually gonna probably rebuild my split VEA with them, and that'll be it. And that'll be good to go.
Very nice, very nice. But you know, we can't talk about ourselves forever. We have a news doc, and people want to hear about the news this week.
The news this week, yes.
A lot of random things out of left field this week.
Yeah, you know, because like you said earlier, if we talked about ourselves too much, you know, that wouldn't be the news. And in a way, we'd almost be like, we'd be royalty, you know, of how egotistical we already are talking about ourselves. And that brings us to our first news topic. SA Whorl Tiki keycap set over on Kono.store. This actually dropped last week, but we just... we only put it in our sponsor spot. So here it is for this week. It's going to be running until October 14th. Should be expected in January. This is a set manufactured by Maxkeys. And it's SA royalty. It's a... You know what the colorway really reminds me of? That set the Control Alt did. SA Retro, they called it.
Oh, yeah.
With the pet ski front print, that's what it reminds me of. But with the Burgundy alphas, because they had brown alphas and Burgundy alphas. That's what this reminds me of.
I could certainly see that.
But as a Maxkeys set, not the greatest compatibility, but I think the Maxkeys has been doing kind of better, but not really.
Yeah. Well, okay, so one thing to note here is they do have a 1.5U backspace in this set, which, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but this is the first time we've seen that from a Maxkeys set. Generally, they don't include that, so at least on some level, the compatibility is getting slightly better on the Maxkeys side versus Signature Plastics.
Okay, one thing I'm wondering if they're going to keep is that backspace key, because usually if it's split into two words, they're both left aligned, not center aligned. On the keycap. So, I don't know, do you think they'll keep it center aligned like that? Or do you think they'll...
I hope it will be center so it's consistent with the rest of the set. It'll be kind of a fail if it's left aligned IMO.
We'll see.
But yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. Yeah. I mean,
$100, not too terrible.
Not too bad.
About what we expect from this level of compatibility from Maxkeys. $100.
I think it's
cheaper than most SA offerings from Signature Plastics. So Maxkeys definitely the more budget-friendly option if you want to try SA for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Olivia, thank you for gifting that tier 1 sub to Shen. Shen, welcome back to the Purple Club.
Heck yeah. All right. So yeah, if this is something you're interested in, it is in group buy phase right now. $100 gets you all that base set goodness with the hopefully proper backspace 1.5 key. But we'll have to see. And hopefully they don't butcher this like they did with the first revision of Lime.
Didn't we talk about the next topic last week? I feel like we did.
No. See, you and I are both messed up because we were on Keebtown.
Oh, that's right.
And we covered some of these topics.
Yeah,
they are in a sense a repeat. But this was only posted 5 days ago.
That's true. So the math does the math.
Yeah, the math checks out, everyone. Top Clack could do 7 minus 5.
Tectonic Plate 001. Thank you for continuing the gift sub you got from Olivia. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah, very cool. Thanks, guys.
Next is the GMK White on Black Intercheck by Brino 1905. You may know him from, he is doing also an Intercheck for Phantom, what's it called? That purple?
No, he
ran it?
Oh, he ran that set, didn't he?
He ran that set. So this is next one. It's a White and Black Hiragana. He rendered it on a Tokyo 60, and it's just white on black, Hiragana alphas, icons all around, 60% compatibility, 65% compatibility. ISO-ish, ISO compatibility. That's it.
Yep. So this is really interesting for a couple of reasons. First, as you mentioned, the 60% format. If you want to use something like a, like a TKL or a full size or something like maybe even a 75%, you just can't. 60%, 65% compatibility. That's what you get more or less. So, they want to keep that key count down to hopefully keep the price down. I imagine that's the only reason you'd ever want to cut out so many caps. We've seen this procedure done before in the past with GMK 3 run, which was like a year or two ago. I don't think that set sold very well, but it'll be interesting to see how far we've come and if this is something we can actually accomplish and if the price can actually get low enough. So pretty interesting there. And also something to note that this is going to be through presumably KVD fans, which in my mind is the first time you've ever seen them run a GMK set. And also the first time they've run something not done by themselves. I could be wrong there, but usually they're a very in-house kind of procedural place. But yeah, apparently they're going to be picking up something like this, which is pretty cool. The price is going to be really the determining factor for me. I think anything over like $80 is going to start to get questionable. But if they can keep it $80 or less, I think it'll be pretty doable.
I hope they can. I hope they can. That's what I'm going to say about that. I mean, I hope they can keep it at $80. I won't lie. I'll buy it at $100 just because I want this set.
Yeah. I think realistically it'll be closer to $100. I don't want it to be closer to $100 though.
You know what? But that's just kind of the name of the game, and we'll see. Maybe they'll buy up to MOQ 500, right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, like Huangvu was putting out in the chat, it's KBD fans, so it's probably going to reach a 500 set MOQ, whether they buy a bunch of extras or not. Just because they do have that raw power in the community nowadays, because they are such an established company. And they've been doing a lot of really cool things, and they're usually all about good value. So fingers crossed that this is really, really, really the way we want it to be, because it does look very good.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of a set people did like, and to a lot of people look very, very good. So good, it's been run in different profiles. It's finally being run again in the round 2 of GMK form. This is Tomberry's GMK Carbon. He's announcing the intercheck now. It's like, hey, this is gonna be a thing. So,
AKA the most popular colorway in the community,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
If you maybe missed one of the first 14,000 runs of Carbon because you're newer to the community, GMK Carbon coming back at you. And he's got some additional things in there as well. If you scroll down the thread a little bit, he's got a new extension arrows
salty kit,
as well as the salty kit, which is really interesting because of course he's going to support his flagship Carbon colorway, but he's also supporting a bunch of other colorways in this novelty set that are not his. So this is kind of interesting. You can, in theory, match your caps with the colorway of your choice if it's on this list, and you can be Salt Bay as well.
Oh yeah, you know it. So here's that Irene comment. Where's the Necro in salty kit? Oh, okay. No, but back to the main set. So I already have a set of GMK Carbon. That does interest me. What actually I want to get is I want to get the bone base kit, because yes, let's say yes to that.
Yeah, I think the bone base kit is way nicer personally. I mean, it's a little bit more muted, a little bit more dull, more mundane, but that's what this boy likes.
Oof. Yeah, I think it works. Yeah, I'm just happy like Bone Base is gonna get like a whole complete base kit. Do you think that will end up reducing the overall MOQ for just like carbon, because now people be like, do I want the carbon base, or do I want to bone around with the bone base, or do I want to, you know, be a whale and, you know, get both?
So are you saying that the carbon base kit will sell less because the bone base kit exists?
Instead of like in theoretical numbers, right? Instead of like the carbon base getting just 500, what if it, you know, doesn't reach to 500, but they both reach 250?
Well, I mean,
but
they're going to be separate MOQs.
Exactly. So, you know, but people who buy one usually won't buy the other.
Yeah, that's true. But this is also probably going to be done on mass drop, so they're going to have a bit more reach there. But
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It's going to run. It's just a matter of how many each one will sell.
A lot. I think each one will get over 500, to be honest.
That's
maybe that's a stretch. I think overall, together they'll get over 800.
Oh yeah,
right.
Totally.
500 each. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, because I mean, last time they ran carbon, I think it sold somewhere in the realm of like 1,700 base sets. But also, it's worth noting that so many key sets run these days that not everyone can buy as many as they want. I mean, obviously, first world problems, duh. But, you know, back when the last time they ran GMK Carbon, there weren't, you know, key sets running.
Okay, guys, I'll read the set. Oh my, read the. What am I reading, guys? Everyone's telling me to read the thread.
Uh-oh, what did we miss?
I guess they're gonna be combined MOQ. I don't know. People say read the thread. They don't tell me like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, reading the thread is fine, but just give us the information and tell us that it's in the thread, because that's way faster. Because if we just have to sit here reading the thread on stream, then it's, you know, a little bit wasteful for everyone.
Oh, they're talking about Necro. Okay.
Oh, what's wrong with Necro?
Oh, that's another topic that we can probably talk about. We shouldn't talk about later, but we might talk about later. We'll see.
Right.
But we have other news we can do first. Which the next one is a remix of something that exists, in my opinion, the worst way to remix something. Which is the Hyperfuse remix, coming soon to Originative, that Control Alt has teased on their Instagram.
Yep. So very, very shortly after Originative launched the collaboration with Control Alt of GMK Tokyo Nights, which I think is currently still up on Originative, they're not skipping a beat, and they're looking to add Hyperfuse remix coming soon. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a big fan of this, but you know, it is a lot of people go crazy for that Hyperfuse, man. Hyperfuse also incredibly popular in the community. It's a nah for me, dog, says Shen Shen. How do you guys feel about this? Is this a good Hyperfuse?
No,
because in my opinion, the pinnacle of Hyperfuse so far has been Origins. I think that is the most true to the colorway. I think it looks the nicest.
Here's what I think of when I think of Hyperfuse. I think of like a really, you know, like a gray look, but with really strong accented pink and purple and cyan poking out. Is Hyperfuse. The base though, that's the strongness comes from the mods being that dark gray or some kind of gray. Right, where you have nice cyan and purple that come out through the alphas and through the legends, basically. That's what I think of for Hyperfuse. This should have been named another set. Like, this should have been like, I don't know, like Boysenberry Mint.
Yeah.
Boysenberry Mint. Yeah. That sounds disgusting.
I totally agree. But, I mean, you know, Control Alt, they really want to milk this Hyperfuse thing for all it's worth, just because of the name.
Hey, man, it's going to sell out. It has the Hyperfuse name.
It'll probably sell out, yeah.
I mean, they're only going to order 250 of them.
That's true. That's very true. It'll probably sell out.
So at some point, it's going to sell out.
Maybe not, though. A lot of people in the chat are not liking this colorway.
They have it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I respect that.
I mean, look at their comments. They have plenty of comments of people, big fans. So
that's true.
Different strokes for different folks.
The thing about Control Alt is they have a very particular following, and a lot of those people will buy it because Control Alt. There's nothing wrong with that, but that is the way it is.
Speaking of the way it is, PMK, that has forever traditionally in our community stood for one thing: Pimp My Keyboards. But I noticed something interesting today. A new PMK, and this is Pimp My Keycaps. Yes.
That's about most of what there is to say about this.
This exists. It's called Pimp My Keycaps, and if you look at their catalog, it looks like all they do is they buy sets from group buys and then mark them up on price and resell them. Like SA Night King for $150.
Yeah.
And he's not even using like his like the first two pictures like aren't even his. Like he just copied and pasted them off of Z Frontier.
Oh man, this is really cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
He's taking renders, which I'm pretty sure didn't ask for. He's just like, I'm just gonna use my Windows snipping tool and grab this picture and repost it on my website and sell a base kit of dev tty dev slash he forgot the first slash first of all, so can't even like label these sets right. It says slash dev slash tty in the picture he stole, and he doesn't even name it right. Gotta
Mr.
say,
Keeps says flip my keycaps. That is amazing. Perfect.
So this person can't even spell slash dev slash tty right, and they are marking all on marking up all these keycaps. So
this is really skeptical.
This is really bad. Like don't do this, people. Don't do this. Don't support this person. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean it's not the greatest business model to begin with, but when you do it in such a way, it's yeah. There's not a whole lot more to say about this, guys. I'm not really a fan of how that's looking.
Indeed. Speaking of, fans of how things may or may not look, this next one, which is a keyboard news, is met with very, very large mixed receptions. It is the ALF Cary 65% Dolch.CR, which is a Dolch pack inspired 60% keyboard. The Dolch pack being a analyzing computer that a company named Dolch used to make, which is where the famous Dolch colorway comes from. Here we go. So it has a very, very unique semicircle on the top with the vertical lines going down, completing the look on the other side of it.
I mean, personally, I don't think this looks bad.
I think it looks
okay.
Fine. I wish there's like angles of it to look at.
I wish there were like real renders of it. I don't understand how an IC can be posted with Alf's name and not have like at least renders. Like Alf is usually really good about this stuff. He usually has prototypes.
Well, these are like so Alf is now basically these days working just as a factory, and like Cary is the designer, so Cary should be getting us the renders of the side. Like, what does the side profile look like? Is it just a block that goes down? Does it have feet? I don't know this stuff. Well, there's kind of a picture. It's not that good. I want like a full side picture, a full side picture. The weight goes through all the way, but like,
yeah, we need better renders. We need better renders. Anyway, some of the features here. You get a customizable badge for the front. That's like that Dolch badge there. There's a 7-degree angle. You get a QMK PCB 6061 aluminum. Looks like you only get 2 colors unless more are requested on the IC forum: matte black or pearl white. So very, very simple there, unless enough people show interest for other colors. Options for a polycarbonate weight and brass weight. So that's a little strange.
The anti-weight.
Polycarbonate weight. The anti-weight, which I, for meme purposes, am a huge fan of.
The
I think anytime where you take out a heavier material and replace it with a lighter material, you're clearly way ahead of the curve, and everyone should be doing that with their keyboards.
Everyone just start drilling speed holes in your keyboard. Makes you go faster.
Sign me up for the helium weight, please. Be like some kind of plastic block you could just fill with helium, and like I want my keyboard to like float, and I have to like hold it down as I type. Totally want it. Also, there are RGB LEDs under the badge, which is interesting. 4 of them, in fact. So that's going to be a pretty bright boy. Integrated plate. He says thick. He doesn't say how thick. So, judging by these pictures, I would guess at least 3 millimeters. Judging by the picture right under this info, that does look pretty thick. And like we said before, it is manufactured by Alf.
Alf's getting involved in quite a bit.
Alf's name really out there these days, yeah.
For anyone who's wondering now, if they didn't catch Keep Town, or wondering when you watch the VOD, how can they get away with blatantly just like ripping off Dolch? That is because the Dolch.CR got sold off to another company who is owned by a large European technical company called Eaton, and Eaton in 2016 canceled the Dolch trademark. So no one owns, or can own the Dolch trademark, so anyone's able to use the Dolch name, basically. There you go. There's no Dolch trademark.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. So yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more about this.
Yeah, and you know, we're about to, because our next topic is the Dolumina 65, which is also another 65%. And you're gonna notice very quickly that it's gonna look very similar to something we just talked about.
Yeah. On a side note, this, if I'm not mistaken, this and our last topic, the Dolch.CR, were posted the same day within like hours of each other. So two people were just like, bam, Dolch ICs. There you go. Very, very interesting timing.
Everyone's just like, wait, what?
Let's talk about more Dolch boards, apparently.
Dolch inspired boards, yeah. So it does have the ever so familiar semicircle on top with the vertical lines going down, completing the look with the badge in the middle. Also a 65%, no blocker, center mount USB. Yes, some
yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to have two of like... okay, I mean, granted, they do have slightly different designs. They're not like the exact same thing. I think the side profiles are going to be very different. This one, obviously, 65% as well, 6 instead of 60. It's like a polycarbonate plate is going to be an option here, or aluminum. You get a 60-degree angle. They haven't quite moved on to the future yet, so they are still using USB Mini. Oh well. Glass sanded or plastic media and anodized 6061. Tell me more about plastic media. It will be top mounted, and it will support split spacebar for all you people that... all you people. You know who you are.
For all you people.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that. People are into the 65% Dolch look. There you go. I see going up.
So, which one do you think is going to be better? Let's just call it out right now. Which one's actually going to be made? They're not going to both be. I don't think they're going to both be made.
If only one of them's getting made, it's definitely the Alf board.
What a crazy world. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What literally a crazy world we live in. But let's go back to something more standard, more of what we're used to, which is the interest check for the Sofia, which is being run by Nixie Theria. And this is a 60%. Will come with a 60% standard layout or a 60% HHKB layout. And here's some renders of the board in different colors and the side and the back. So it does have a little side slit. It does have a logo of a female's name in cursive.
Where have we seen this side cutout before? I swear I've seen this on another board before. Like this exact same design. I was like racking my brain over it the other night. And I could not find it. Yes, indeed, somewhere. Potentially over the rainbow.
Yeah, but while we think about that, it is a 10-degree angled case with a brass plate. Comes with a supports standard 60% PCBs. Total weight is about 4.8 pounds, 2.2 kilograms, and it comes in a with a fancy box as the specs. Additionally, you can also get a stainless steel plate or a polycarbonate plate. Mech 27. Thank you, Allo World.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, no, it's not quite Duck. It's not quite TX.
Yeah,
it's like a very particular like side like cutout slope there. That
yeah,
I think it's the Mech 27 B2 or something.
So
yeah. Anyways,
10 degrees. That's a bit steeper than a lot of the 60% we've usually been seeing, other than, you know, offerings from Duck, which I do have a Viper right here on my desk. 10.
Yeah, 10's pretty high. Ducks are 11, if I'm not mistaken. So we're right around that territory. A little bit out of my comfort zone, but maybe there's a larger market for it.
I'd run with it.
Yeah, I would use it. It wouldn't be 100% ideal. You know, it's whatever. I do like coming with fancy boxes though. You know what I'm saying?
I'm aware of the things you are saying.
Packaging is honestly okay. Let's actually talk about packaging for a second. Would you rather pay $10 to $20 more for a nice high-end board to have better, more interesting packaging? Not better packaging, more interesting. I mean, honestly, you could wrap every part up in bubble wrap, stick it in a box, and ship it for cheaper than having like your own packaging designed and having like foam laser cut and stuff like that. Do you think it's actually beneficial? Do you think there's value in having quote unquote fancy, nice packaging?
There can be. There can be. I don't think all packaging is necessarily good. Even if it's like super nice or super fancy by however people will define that metric. For example, what's that packaging that I liked but had major complaints with? The M65A. Great absolutely great boxing and packaging in terms of aesthetics, looks, presentation. In terms of like storage and like using it as a box, it's bad. Because you can't actually store your M65 in it. You only have the slots for each of the parts, basically.
Yeah.
So I can't like use it to store a keyboard back in again. So like that for me is an example of a great fancy box that fails after you're done building the board. And that's why I say whether or not it comes with a fancy box depends on if the fancy box is still, for me, usable.
Yeah. See, like for me, I don't usually keep boxes. I don't really have a ton of space, and like if I kept every nice packaging from like every keyboard I've ever had I wouldn't have any space in my closet. So like I cannot keep boxes. So for me, like I unbox it, like that's it. The box goes away. Like I don't need it anymore. Like if I could save like $10+ on a keyboard for that reasoning, I think I would take it every time.
Yeah, I probably would too. Because the only like packaging I would care most about is a great like bag or case that they include, like with my Mira or with our TX60, yeah. Which brings us to our next topic in the other news category. A writer by the name of Brian, who is a Malaysian student in the U.S. who likes mechanical keyboards, watches, and raw denim, wrote a article about the Holy Trinity of Customs Part 1 TX by Kin25. This is going to be a 3-part series that this writer is working on about a Holy Trinity of Customs. I wonder who he will cover in Part 2 and 3, but Part 1 is about Kin. What did you think about this article, Brian?
I think I only made it about halfway through. I thought...
Oof.
I'm sure you're way more qualified to talk about this than I did. I thought it was all right. I thought some of his choice of words were interesting, and some of the things he said. Like there's one part where he says that TX boards like originally launched because Kin wanted a cheaper alternative to Duck and LZ, and I thought it was funny because that may have been true in the past, but right now, like, most TX boards are more expensive than Duck boards. If you're like comparing like a group buy price versus you know, a group buy price for TX or like an off the shelf from TX. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But since you've probably read the whole thing, Huey, let's hear your thoughts about this.
I thought it was pretty decent. The history research was decently done, including, you know, the back and forth between Yutsuki, Sam helping out Kin during Kin's various issues. Yeah, I did like he was talking about the learning experiences Kin went through, and then now, you know, how Kin the reason now Kin decides to front all the boards first, like he did with the recent TX run, where he bought all the TX60s, 65 and 84 before he even sold them, just so he had them in stock, could do, you know, just go through with them. I thought this was really funny, where he originally referred to something as the Zondat problem, but then people were like, oh, and he's like, oh wait, I mean the X60 problem. That's just another thing. No, otherwise, he talks about a decent amount. He talks about the lip design that a lot of people know TX boards for. He talks about sandwich mounts, the bottom weight, the bags, kind of hitting like the key points, which do matter a lot. None of it is really a review of any particular board, nor do I feel like it's a comprehensive overview of Kin 25 or TX boards in general, but I feel like as a basic, hey, here's a quick read on Kin 25 and TX, it's a great starting point. Which is fine enough because there's no other way to start in reading this information other than going back and going through old information, which he's done for you in a very decently concise enough way. I myself have some issues with the article, but otherwise I would still recommend it as a read for people.
Totally. Yeah, it's totally worth reading, just for the sake of reading, if nothing else. It's cool to have a little bit of history because, you know, a lot of information in our community, whether it's, you know, guides or just news in general, like it's sometimes it's hard to find, and to have someone like just compile everything in one area for an article is often very helpful.
So take a chance, read this when you get a chance, but when you get a chance as well, you should be checking out some exciting news that happened. Zeal's been like, hey, I'm launching a new group buy, guys, and guess what's in that group buy? Guess what Huey and Brian have been waiting on for a long time?
A lot of months.
The orange Helios Silent linears, which is kind of interesting, very interesting, because he went with the Helios spelling as if he changed the T in Helios to an H as opposed to the Helios spelling.
Yeah. Which is the Greek, I think it's Greek, god of the sun.
Yeah.
So that's sun orange. That's kind of where.
So
that
I
was
thought
going.
that was odd. He didn't go with that Helios because it's still, I guess it could be Helios. It's Helios, but he wants to pronounce Helios. So let's talk about these. He has revised the silencing solution. Now it's a 3-piece on the bottom, 1 piece on the top, similar to how Cary does it.
Which actually is really interesting to me, because remember when he first launched the Silence, his first silent switch, if I'm not mistaken, the idea was he would have a much thinner coating of that that rubber dampener or whatever material it is, the dampener itself. The idea was that cherry switches maybe felt a little bit too mushy, Silent cherries, and he wanted to counteract that by having a much thinner dampening material. So, you know, when you bottom out, it wouldn't feel as mushy. You'd still feel a little bit more of a tap, though it would still be silenced. So I guess maybe people were not a fan of that, or maybe he thought it was not as successful as it otherwise could have been, and now he's opting for a route that seems more similar to cherry. So that's a little interesting to me. I wonder if these are still going to feel kind of mushy like cherry silents do. That's something I'm a little bit worried of.
Yeah, that's a little bit of my worry as well. I'm still hoping they at least feel hopefully close to the firmness of the original ones. 'Cause I did like that firmness. I know a lot of people did report issues if you do type too hard on them because it's shorter. You just compress that way too much, and the plastic of the palm would just hit the bottom on certain angles if you typed. And a lot of people were having like small little ticking or tapping sounds because of that, which is definitely understandable of an issue, especially if you're a hard typist and you want it to be silent, and that's the reason you got some switches that have silencing pads on them. Mm-hmm. You know, information like that is hard, very, very hard to convey, obviously. So yeah, he did have to revert to this. I still hope they do feel at least somewhat firm, because I don't like the traditional cherry silent feel as much.
Same.
I like the silent feel, but I like purposely don't like go ham on mine. I just like type as appropriately as I need to get the benefit of that silencing pad without that ticking sound. But yeah,
certainly.
But otherwise, I'm still excited. Top Clack will be receiving samples of this switch. I will probably be either rebuilding my unicorn to throw these in, or putting these in my Mira with my C3 in-switch SMD RGB LEDs for all those ruggas and buzz. You know what I'm saying? Have you decided what you're going to be putting your samples in?
Yes. They're either going to go in my Tokyo 60 or they're going to go in my orange Prionic. So that was kind of a happy accident because, you know, I have this orange Prionic laying around, and I've been waiting for silent switches to put in there because I wanted something quiet so I could take more advantage of the MIDI functionality, so you could hear the key less while you're actually producing the music. So that's those are most certainly going to end up there, but I might also just decide to put them in my Tokyo 60 because, you know, as more of a travel / street board, you know, I kind of want a little bit of silence there as well, which I have MX sounds there now and it's nice, but I don't know. We'll see how these feel. I think that's going to be the determining factor.
Yeah. In addition to these, he does have the revised version 2 of the Xylens and Helios, his tactile ones. And if you've read the email he put out today, he's putting it out there. He claims more tactile than Holy Pandas.
I don't think he should have said that. Even if it's true, that's a bold.
That's
claim.
Bold. It was a pretty controversial, hot topic this morning on the Top Clack Discord. I was talking to a lot of people about. That's a bold claim. I mean, obviously there are switches that are more tactile than Holy Pandas, like, you know, the BKEs, the Reduxes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
right. Those exist, but like saying like an MX switch, that's bold. I think he should have waited for someone else to say that if it is indeed true. Because if he says, I revised my tactility to be more tactile, there's only one switch people are going to want to say that, to compare it to. And the reviewers who can compare it to will compare it to. But now he's already stated that. That means everyone is already holding it to that high of a standard. Like, he just put his cards on the table before the rivers come out.
Yeah, oof. I like the reference. Being a poker player, I like the reference.
Thanks.
Fantastic.
I thought you liked that one, but we will see. So I'm gonna switch on the stream the page. For he also has the old ones on clearance, by the way. Celio V2 tactiles, group buys, all of the stems. Every single stem is getting redone.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting.
All of V1s are gonna be discontinued.
So
they're not going to be produced anymore.
So something I want to actually confirm with Zeal is all the stems are being redone. Is he still going to have the spring difference for the 67 and 78? So will the 67 and 78 be taking advantage of the new stem and the new spring? Because changing the spring in the round 10, 8 was a huge deal. Like that made a very noticeable difference for the 67 and 78. So like, will those weights still retain that big spring change, or will that spring change either A, go away, or B, be diminished, or C, even have some increase to it where it's like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Daddy Zeal's actually in chat right now. Maybe he can answer that question for us. Is the spring going to be a determining factor here for these new stems? Are you using the same springs? Are we getting different springs?
While we wait on that,
will the 67 and 78 grain be more tactile because they still have the same spring, but the 65s will be less so?
And while we wait on that answer, the PCB mount legs are going to be slightly shaved, so people won't be, like hurting their fingers trying to, insert it, deep into those PCB mount holes.
Deep into the holes, baby.
Yeah, if you don't get it deep enough, it's too shallow. It's hard to, get those pins coated with that sticky solder. Springs are being redesigned.
Okay, so in theory, all new springs for the whole lineup, which is very interesting. Wow, this is a really big change. For Zeal's
So if people who may not know, he did say it on the Discord. The new stems, they're like new molds. They're new molds. Like he's like, I'm dropping the dough down. These Helios have been doing great. They've been doing great for years now. And now time to bring it to the next level. I guess he's ready, and these are new molds.
People want bigger bumps, and Zeal's going to deliver, it seems.
So check him out when you get a chance. It's group buy pricing now. You guys know how Zeal functions. He's been doing this for years. He got the group buy pricing. When it finishes, he ships everything else. Everything else he has in stock before the next round will be sold at an increased price until the next group buy, which will go back down to group buy pricing. So either you can get it now for the normal group buy price, or if you want to wait for reviews, if they don't come in time or whatever, you can wait for the price to go up and get them after they ship, although quantities will be limited at that point.
Yeah, really interesting.
So
I'm really excited to get the samples. Like Huey said, Top Clack is supposed to be getting review samples. We'll be able to try the new Helios, the new Silence, and the Helios. Huey and I are both getting samples of all three. So it'll be really, really interesting to see all these new V2 lineup switches.
And there's going to be a new revision for the Zeal 60. So yeah, check that out. That is a thing you should check out.
There's stuff, yeah.
There's stuff. That's black
Speaking
on gold.
of stuff, yeah.
Speaking of stuff. Stuff can
plates.
be made. Yeah,
You like plates, right?
I like plates. Do you like plates?
I like plates. Plates are pretty
dude.
cool. And it looks like Laserboost is throwing their name out there for making plates. They've been I think they're a little newer to the community, but they've been doing a lot of plates for the community lately. A lot of custom plates have been being cut for specific people. I know a couple of the UK people, Chris Swires and Jay Esoteric, are really, really, really big fans of these guys. From what I see, they do a lot of really good work. So if you're thinking about having a custom plate made, this might be a nice, really good go-to option for you.
Steel, brass, and in another post they actually posted, they also have copper.
Yep.
And they're like, we love doing,
very...
plate work for keyboards. Hit us up with your projects. I actually built with one of their copper plates. I built a Zephyr for someone, and I used the copper plate that Laserboost made. The switches clipped in perfectly. Every single switch clipped in for every single position. Very, very nice and easy. No issues with stabilizer fitment for where the stabilizers went in. No extra rough edges or, edges with just that didn't look great or were consistent. Everything was really clean cut. From using that and building it for someone, at least in terms of quality, yes. Yes. Price, of course, will depend on your project, but hey, hit them up when you get a chance. Laserboost.
Sure. They have multiple finishes, too, for the metals. So
yeah,
they got some options, man. They got some options.
got some options. Got some options. Speaking of options, Brian, you talked about some options in a recent article. The Switch Lab, a living Switch modification guide. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about
Bring it right back.
Remix. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I've been kind of off and on working on this Switch guide I've been wanting to put out. And to start with, I started with lubing because that's, you know, a popular thing in the community these days. A lot of people are doing it, and a lot of people over the last year or so have been asking how I lube switches, you know, what exactly I do, what I like, what I don't like. You know, they want me to talk about lubing theory, like why I do the things I do and make the choices I make. And instead of being asked that 5 to 10 times per week for the last year, I decided I would put up article. So this is my breakdown of lubing theory, which will include, you know, information on lubes, like what you might want to use, the properties of different things, as well as the idea behind everything, as well as my lubing technique. So there you go. For all the people that have been asking for this, there it is, finally up. I did cross-post it the other day on RMK, and it did do pretty darn well. It saw a pretty high percentage of upvotes, so hopefully people enjoy it. And, you know, if you have questions, you know where to find me.
Yeah. Check that out. Highly recommended reading. And our next topic we actually just added because this topic reminded me of. I do want to just do a brief shout out to cover this. Go through this picture guide that Walker posted on where to lube switches. It's a really good supplementary read and view to Brian's, because what he basically did was he put some material on a switch keycap, press it 200 times straight on, 100 times on each of the 4 edges, and from that we can physically see where all the contact points are of friction. So if you apply Brian's lube theory and lube technique guide with information you gather here for where there are points of friction, you yourself can lube some pretty gosh darn good switches. So shout out to Walker. This is a great resource everyone in the community should be aware of.
Yep, Walker has been coming up huge the last couple months with the science posts, and this is no exception. So TLDR, you basically lube everywhere, which is probably another reason why Walker himself is a really big fan of the bag method, or not necessarily the bag. He calls it the tub method. He doesn't use a bag.
He uses a plastic tub now. Yes.
Yes, with characters from the Disney film Frozen on there to get that extra magic. So that's something he likes to do, and this definitely reflects that. So
look through this. Read it out, you know, take the best parts of this, take the best parts of what Brian wrote, which is probably everything Brian wrote. And if you haven't lubed switches before, give it a shot. You have 2 great guides and great resources to look at now, and I'd highly recommend you check those out.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of things to check out, Brian, have you seen the most recent Star Wars movie of the new trilogy?
Yes, I have. Yes.
There's a lot of marketing hype, and now there's even more marketing hype, because Novelkeys recently announced today that they're going to be working with Disney on some upcoming Star Wars products. And I'd like you to look at these hashtags, okay? Hashtag keycaps, hashtag keyboards. Are we going to have some Star Wars desk mats? Some Star Wars novelty keycaps, some Star Wars Star Wars keyboards. He's already announced that Massdrop will be the retailer, hence the hashtag Massdrop. They're going to be the retailer, but Mike is going to be working with Disney and working with their Star Wars division, which they, you know, acquired from LucasArts for, you know, it's $4 billion. By buying
like
LucasArts.
A couple bucks.
Couple bucks. So this is, who knows what's going to be happening, but this is pretty intense. Mike himself was the one who struck the deal with Disney, so that's going to be a very big deal. I wonder what direction this is going to go, because on one hand, as someone who likes classic Star Wars, I want things to reference that. But like knowing Disney, being Disney, like, okay, what can we make a toy or accessory out of that people want to buy? Because come on, they just paid $4 billion. They gotta make it back somehow, right?
This could mean so many things. And this, like, I just learned about this today. Like, this was totally out of left field for me. So I have.
He posted this today, so.
Yeah, and I even being partners. Like, I don't know about you, I didn't have any previous knowledge about this.
I didn't either. No, this is something that he had to. I'm sure there's NDAs. It's Disney. NDAs. There's contracts.
I'm sure, yeah.
And there's probably like a whole 9 yards of stuff. I have stuff to say about stuff, but I won't because this is not probably the best place to say it. So, this is a very, very big collab, probably the biggest collab since we got Hasbro to work with Cassidy Williams for those Scrabble Pad keys, which I think sample pictures were posted last week or earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a big collab though.
Disney and Novelkeys. Name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. Force lock key.
Obviously it's the most iconic duo.
I
don't know.
I was being silly. You don't actually have to answer that question.
No, I'm going to now. Ace and Gary.
Oh my God. Who?
Ace and Gary, the ambiguously gay duo. Let me down.
I don't know like pop culture and stuff.
But actually, so probably the top 3 biggest collabs in our industry with like mainstream or alternate media industries is Hasbro, Star Trek for Brian Norbauer's set, and now whatever this will turn out to be. I wonder what this will turn out to be, by the way.
Shin Chen says Halos and Pandas. That is a pretty iconic duo.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I hope it goes well for Mike. Hope it goes well for the community. Excited to see what will actually come out of this. I don't think a full key set will come out of this. I just think novelty keys and desk pads is going to be the start of this. And after that, Disney being who they are is going to, crunch the numbers, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, Disney doesn't really have, like, a ton of money to make from our community, I feel like.
Well,
but I guess we'll kind of see where this goes.
If they convert it into ticket sales, that'll definitely help them. Or convert it into people liking a trilogy that's basically dead. Oof. But yeah, hopefully it's a thing. Did we skip a topic in the news? I suppose
yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't want to say anything until we got to the end, but yeah,
we'll get back to it. It'll be something we'll get back to. But let's move on to some unfortunate news, but with a happy ending. Although not the happiest, but still a happy ending. So this is a small little post that Popcorn62 posted. If you're in GMK Burgundy and you live in the US, half of the US proxy keys were lost by FedEx. Like, GMK sent to the US proxy 2 boxes with all of GMK Burgundy, and FedEx is like, hey, we lost one of those boxes. Like, straight up. Which is, half of the order of GMK Burgundy. That's a really, really big deal. That sucks. There's going to be a delay. And I say a delay because GMK is going to make those keys.
Good guy,
Popcorn
GMK.
Working with GMK. GMK's like, no, you guys are going to get your keys. Popcorn's like, you guys are going to get your keys. You're going to get your keys. You may have to wait if, this. Like, it sucks. There's going to be a delay for, I guess, half of the people for the US proxy. European proxy, you're fine. Asian proxy, you're fine. Just US proxy. 2 months is the estimated delay for half the people. But hey, it's just a delay. These aren't lost completely. You're going to get your keycaps. The good thing is, this is a community who is used to delays. So
at this point, what's another 2 months, anyways?
Yeah. So stay strong, people. Great job, Popcorn and GMK, by the way, for coming through to make sure that people get keycaps. Happy about that. Thanks, guys. Now, last topic to round it off is back to keyboard news, because I skipped this one because life. The Thekey.company is saying that they're going to be having the TKC 1800 1.9 version pre-sale tomorrow, live at 7 p.m. EDT. Yeah, it's 1800. Comes with a lot of cool colors, new PCB. You can even put like a screen on the PCB. A lot of interesting colors, including a very controversially named color, cocaine white.
What?
One of the colors is named cocaine white.
Yeah. All right. That's a thing. Yeah.
Also, there's Nardo gray, plum crazy metallic, sapphire blue metallic, and yellow jacket. One of the big things about the case is it's sanded, clear of texture. It's fancy. It's gonna have like the automotive quality finish and all that super fancy. So if you like, I guess if you want one of the most premium plastic 1800 keyboards, this is kind of it. I mean, like, you can even wax your case because of the finish. Like, you can get wax, you can wax and buff your case. You can do the whole 9 yards.
I'm a little curious about something though.
Yeah.
So on this link that we've provided, there is a V1.9 kit B stock pre-sale for $189. That's starting from $189
yes.
US. And then there's the V1.9 kit pre-sale. Doesn't say anything about B stock, from $149. Why is the B stock version more expensive?
What do you mean, $149? What?
The kits that don't say B stock start at $149. The kits that do say B stock start at $189. So B stock is
PCB.
$40 more expensive.
A stock includes PCB. $60 for PCB.
Oh, okay. So B stock does include PCB. A stock does not include PCB.
I think so. And then you can add A stock for $60.
Okay. That
I'm not sure he's completely finished the page yet because it doesn't launch until tomorrow.
I see. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. It's probably not completely done with the page yet, because like Huey said, this doesn't really actually launch until tomorrow at 7 p.m. I don't know what time zone that is for him.
So if you're looking for an 1800 that's with a plate, not PCB mount, with a plate, I guess you could PCB mount it yourself, but really fancy paint job on it, like really fancy paint job. Then check this out. This is probably gonna be shipping, I think he said, in 6 weeks. So yeah.
Cool.
I have talked to Jason, also known as Mike Honcho, the Thekey.company, and I will be getting a review unit, but with that batch in 6 weeks. So I can't tell you now if this is worth your money or good or not, but I can for the future versions, because he said this is a mini buy. There's going to be a V2 coming out like early 2019 or something. So this is kind of like the last of this stock before he gets like the big next batch in.
Yeah.
I think the colors are unique. That's.
Are you gonna go for cocaine white?
No, I'm going for that blue.
Blue looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. That blue metallic. So Jason is a pretty cool guy. So check it out when you get a chance. It goes live tomorrow. Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out. And let's move on to other people you should check out, like our awesome sponsors. Let's start with Impa Club, who runs Kono.store. We've got some GMK Shoko interest check going on, some monochrome group buying going on, and I have some exclusive Kono.store knowledge for you guys. There are very limited supplies that just got uploaded to their website for White Foxes, Night Foxes, and GMK Camping. They have an email that's going to come out tomorrow announcing those are in their store, but we got the go-ahead to tell you guys first that those are up. In addition to all those things are up, you know what would go great with all of those keyboards? The monochrome set going on right now, because that white and black going on.
GMK monochrome.
Guys, I'm getting to it. I have a script, guys. Come on, chat. Come on. I promise. I got this. You got to build up for talking about, for like having mentioned monochrome. That's why.
Oh.
That's why, guys. Because you can, on your White Fox and your Night Fox, you can put monochrome on it, and that would be great.
Ooh, that would look really good on the Night Fox.
Yeah, Night Fox monochrome. You know what I'm saying?
Black. Ooh, that'd be hot.
Exactly, that would be hot. So check it out when you get a chance. Like I said, White Fox, Night Fox. Great keyboard for a lot of people, especially looking for that low pro look with a very, very simple case. Sounds great if you stuff some Sorbothane in it. And GMK Camping, a lot of people did like that set and were a bit bummed they missed out on it, especially with all the delays. But there are quite a few extras that are up right now. So check them out, because an email is going to be launched out tomorrow. And then probably sometime after tomorrow, people are going to start buying all of them up. So check it out when you get a chance.
Next up, we got Novelkeys to XYZ. Awesome place where you can get all sorts of awesome switches. He's got new versions, updated versions of pretty much all of the box switches now. I think he's only missing the Hako Royal Trues at this point, which are supposed to be coming this week. Everything else should be new and good to go. He's got the NASA Desk Pad GB up right now. The GMK Mr. Sleeves Group by Accent Kit is still going on, still going strong. I do believe they've already met MOQ, which is really, really cool. And, you guys should hop in that as well. So while you're there, make sure to use promo code TOPCLACK, get you 5% off your entire order. That's TOPCLACK, 2 words, not one. It's not 1 word, 2. The one that comes after 1. You guys know.
Oh wait, Nathan Kim's correcting you. They haven't met MOQ, and it ends tomorrow.
Oh, they really?
Join, everyone join right now.
I thought he said with the proxies they had hit it in a recent post. Well, if I'm wrong, I apologize for that information. And if it's not going to hit MOQ, everyone join now so that does happen.
Right now.
Make Nathan happy. Make him cry tears of joy on stream right now.
Literally on stream.
$55, you get some sick colors for accent keys. Do it, and look forward to the upcoming Star Wars collaboration.
That collab.
So, good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. Speaking of good stuff, you can also pick up some more good stuff from Z Frontier. Z Frontier is probably the best proxy if you want to sell to the Chinese and a lot of the Eastern Asian markets. If you have a key set or keyword idea that you need a proxy for in that area. They also run quite a bit of their own from the East, group buys and interest checks for various different designers and designers over on that side, allowing us in the West to check out some of the awesome things that they've done in the past and will do in the future. So check out Z Frontier when you get a chance. Especially if you can get on that, Zomo and Z Frontier glow in the dark reactor keycap, or do they still have that giant keycap novelty?
Oh, like the $300 one or whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That thing was so insane. I don't know. I haven't actually. Hold on. What if I can? They had it on the front page, I think. I'm not seeing it anymore though.
Found it. It's old. It's over.
Oh. I wonder if they sold. I don't even know what enough units would be for that.
I don't know, man.
That was just insane.
That was insane. Oh,
that was freaking crazy. Anyways, last but not least, we got Big Daddy Zeal himself.
Big Daddy
Zeal Generation. You can find it at zealpc.net. As we talked about earlier, he's got tons of changes incoming. He's got the silent linears, the Helios launching soon. He's got all the upgraded Zelios and Silence coming out soon. All V2 stuff, new leaves, new stems, new springs, same housings, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, very, very new feels, very new Helios coming to all of your Zeal products. And of course, he's got the revision 4 Zeal 60 coming out with that black and gold, sexy colorway. that I do believe is now officially supported in QMK.
Yes, they put in the requests earlier in the week, and then yeah, it got pulled. I think that's the terminology. Yep. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's in the thing. The thing.
So, cool stuff there. And I believe the eggplant purple is that about to end tomorrow?
Yeah, it's ending tomorrow. We got less than 48 hours to get on that Zephyr. I joined today because I saw the eggplant purple, and I'm like,
too good, man.
Zio, why'd you do this to me? Why'd you do this to me? So I'm gonna be getting one. So yeah, expect that build stream to happen when I get it in, because awesome possum.
Zephyr's hardcore, man. After using one, I could honestly say it was definitely one of the better boards I've ever typed on, for sure. Very solid. All right. So, if you probably didn't guess already, we have no guests today.
But you know what? We have you, the audience.
Oh, okay, good. I thought you were talking about me for a second.
Oof, no.
That would have been bad. No one wants that. We do have the audience, so as usual, we will do a Q&A. So, if you guys have questions, we, in theory, have answers. Might not be the best answers, but they will be answers.
Oh.
So make sure you use the @TopClack tag.
They will be answers.
Bring that in. How much did IC pay you to wear that shirt? I actually kind of took this shirt from them, actually. So they didn't pay me anything. So if you guys don't remember, when TopClack shirts first came out, we Input Club handled a lot of the stuff for us. They ran them for us. They were supposed to ship like a very small amount to me. They wound up shipping like all of them to me, including some of these White Fox shirts that weren't even supposed to be there. And so we were just like, it was kind of just like a logistical nightmare. And before I sent it back to them, I was like, hey, I'm going to take one of these White Fox shirts. And they were like, okay. And so I just took one. So nothing. They didn't pay me anything for it. Shen Shen is asking, what do I get for dinner? Let's go check out the food and drink channel. What are other people
Taiwanese fried chicken.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
Taiwanese fried chicken, and you drink some boba.
Some boba, nice. Ooh, Toasty Party has a very nice pick in the food and drink channel. So it almost looks like a seafood paella, or some kind of, maybe a cioppino or something. There's a lot of seafood there. I see shrimp, I see mussels, I see calamari. So that looks freaking good.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
So eat paella. You want paella for dinner, because that sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. Violet Viceroy is asking, TopClack, Keeptown/TopClack crossover win. Your podcast episode was great, by the way. I love when you guys give your hot takes and opinions. I don't know. It's hard to say. We've had Woke. Have we had Woke on the show yet? I feel like we haven't.
I think we've had Woke.
We've had Dixie. We've had Dixie. We've had Dixie for sure.
We've not had the third host.
Tennis.
But that podcast was effectively a crossover.
Yeah, I think Violet. I think she means a crossover where they come on ours.
Oh, okay.
Which would just be like a shorter version of their show, because we'd only have them on probably for the interview portion.
Well, I mean, they kept us on for the news. We could do the same for them, right?
It's true. It's true, but they would be at a disadvantage because they wouldn't have a chance to review our news yet. Because they look at our news to draw from their news topics. So I guess it'd be like, we'll possibly find a way. It's there's some logistics behind that we need to handle on the back end.
It wouldn't be the first time we've had a crossover with another podcast, so it's definitely in the cards. It could happen, absolutely. Megaforce bringing it back down to food says McDonald's, Five Guys, or Wendy's.
Depends on my mood and budget.
I've never had Five Guys, although one is opening up in a very nearby location to me, so that'll be my first Five Guys experience. But I don't know, McDonald's and Wendy's. I like them both. It just depends on my mood situation. I wouldn't pick one over the other for an overall.
Yeah.
Chen is asking, are we going to go over and cover the GMK Necro thread? I don't know what's going on with Necro. I haven't seen that news yet.
Jessica's going on. She's going off actually at people.
Oh, so the group by runner and designer is.
No, it's more than just that. That's like
a
quick Huey oversimplification. It's other people having it's a lot of things. We can cover that. We can cover that. Let's go through some of these questions while we can.
All right. My name was taken is asking opinions on this meme 69 key layout, and he has a little image link there. It's I mean, of course it's perfect, right? I mean, it's like a middle finger on the right side of your
it's board. Literally like, hey, 65. I can't do that on Twitch, so I won't. But yeah,
that's very meme. I would be very interested to see how that would look on a higher end, nice, high profile case. The Ragin Asian is asking, help me decide what to throw in a clipe I have incoming: retooled blacks or Nixie clone gats.
Nixie clone gats. You gotta throw the retooled blacks into a TKL for that custom cred.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd go with that as well. Amnesia is asking, when are you going to have Quantric? He said he's willing, but thinks your schedule is too busy. Is our schedule's too busy?
Our schedule's like static.
Yeah, like...
once a week?
We do the show at the same time every single week for the last 2 years.
But yeah, we definitely love to have him on.
Totally,
one of us can reach out to him, see if we can work with his schedule.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his schedule is like, but yeah, we'll hit him up. I'll PM him as soon as the show's over, and I'll see what's up with him. See if he wants to come on. Because yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Pooch Zag is asking, would you recommend Huey's previous desoldering gun over a standard cheap solder sucker if I were to only desolder around 2 PCBs with LEDs per year? Interested in ease and saving time over money. Huh.
Yes, since you mentioned you care more about saving time than money. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm no one to ask this, but follow up from me. Now that you've used the FR301, how does that compare to the previous ZD915 that you had?
It is definitely recognizably better, but don't get me wrong. The older one I had, the ZD915, was still fine, and the part that broke, I can replace it for $30, and it'll still work for another. I used mine 2 to 4 times a week for 8 months before it broke. Think about that, people. I use it that much consistently, right, for that long, for that much, before it actually broke down. But of course, I just do a lot of work. You guys see me do stuff all the time for no good reason, just reasons. So if you don't mind just the price, then yeah, it's great. It's easy. It's convenient.
Yeah.
There you go.
Zerpocalypse, another food question. Huey, as a fellow Californian, do you think that In-N-Out is overhyped but still worth?
Overhyped, yes. Worth it depending on your mood. It's so super. It's like, if people think it's like Jesus. It's fast food. It's still fast food.
Yeah, it's not
still
gonna change your
You're still
life.
having a fast food burger. Come on, guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Californian, but I've been to In-N-Out probably a dozen times in my life, and I do like it, but it did not change my entire existence.
It's just a fast food burger. It's a
really good fast food burger. It's a really good American product.
America.
Yeah, that's pretty much that. Christmas Kane is asking, who's a better... Grab my phone ringing. I'll just beat that. Who's a better haiku poet, Megaforce or Matzo Basho?
Megaforce, duh.
I don't know. I've never heard haiku poetry from either of them. So sorry about that, guys. But maybe we should compare, live compare contrast at some point, maybe.
Not
My name
live.
is
I don't
Key-
think it's a good idea to
Not
have
live,
Megaforce
sorry,
live.
I completely take that back. You're right. Damn, edit that out. Oh shit, wrong show. My name was taken. Says it was meant to be a dick, but middle finger works as well. That meme layout. That makes total sense. I completely see that now. Bad Counsel is asking, what looks better in your opinion, silver or gold brass plate with purple Zephyr? I'm in a... Ooh. Wow,
Silver.
That's actually kind of tough.
I went with purple eggplant and silver PVD.
I think silver PVD usually looks better on brass in general because, you know, most people are used to the standard brass look. I think in this scenario, I would go with the gold, though. But, like, everything else, I'd go with the silver. That's just me, though. Amnesia says, no guest on your calendar. Oh, okay, that's the Quantric thing. I don't think we have anyone scheduled at the moment for any episodes incoming soon. So that could be a thing. Like I said, I'll reach out to him. NGB is asking, are the Real Force RGB sliders any good? Question for you, Hugh, because I haven't tried that yet.
Nah.
Nah.
All
right.
No, they're fine. But, nah.
Key PCB is asking, what's the most ridiculous layout you can think of? Layout.
Some 30%. Insert 30% keyboard here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty tough, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, probably some like the Pain 27. Is that still a thing? Where it's just the
alphas.
The alphas and like a 6U spacebar, 6.25 spacebar. There's no mods or like anything at all. That's pretty silly. Stuff I wouldn't ever want to use. I don't know. Violet Viceroy is asking, while we're on the topic of hot takes, what are the best and worst customs you guys have built / used, and why? Your keyboard reviews are very neutral, and it's hard to gauge if an expensive board is worth it for the price based on what you get. Wow. Okay, loaded question. Fair enough. Best and worst customs we've ever built.
Define best and worst. The reason that some of mine kind of seem neutral because I view a lot of points by individual points. Like right now, if I said like the worst in terms of the condition, my meme. Have you seen how busted my meme is? Right?
Yeah.
Like things like that. But it's not my worst keyboard.
Yeah, like I don't know. The reason I think at least I will seem neutral on a lot of like review kind of stuff is it's rare that I try something like that's supposedly nice and it's like really bad. That doesn't happen that often in the keyboard world. I think. I mean, there are definitely things that I like not as much, but it's been a while since I've gotten like a $400 custom and been like, God, this is the worst thing ever. It's really bad. I can't type on it, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I guess stuff like that in terms of like, you know, receiving a damaged board, stuff like that. Yeah, the meme, obviously, none of the memes were perfect. Like mine was like the best one, and it still had several issues.
Mine would have been the best one. No, really, like look at like those two things. If you take those two things off, my finish is almost flawless.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. It really is. It's hard for me to think of like the worst though.
And like, is it worse based off like just because they're bad? Worse because of value? Worse because of the way we built it? That's why that's like it's a loaded question because that question requires context. Because you know if you looked at any of our reviews, like all my keyboard reviews, I talk about at least some of the modern ones talk about the group buy process. I talk about how I feel about certain aspects of it, and you're gonna see that in my next review, which is stupidly 20 minutes long, 24 minutes long. Where I go over like different factors. Like there's some factors about some keyboards I love and other factors I hate. Like CA66, a lot of parts I love. like that brass plate and typing on it. A lot of parts I hate, like left-only USB-C connector. What? Why?
Yeah, I almost always try to break it up individually too. It's been a while since I've used like a quote-unquote nice board and like universally disliked everything about it. In terms of best boards I've used, that's pretty tough. I'm not really sure like the best boards I've used are. I think the X60 is actually pretty high up there, despite like the problems that it has. I think the actual like the design and like the function of it, the way it feels to type on, I think is really up there for me. The OTD 356 Mini was definitely one of the nicer typing experiences I've ever had. My meme, even with the issues that it has, I think the gasket mount is pretty successful, and I think that is a wonderful typing experience for me. So
keep going, Brian.
definitely...
I'll be back in like 25 seconds.
Yeah, that's fine. I think okay. Here's what I'm not too fond of: the Time TKL. We got a free review sample from Z Frontier. I think Huey actually did a video on it too, and was like, there's pros and cons to it, but there's definitely things I dislike about it. I hate how tall it is. So freaking tall, it's like almost unusable for me. That drives me nuts. Man, it's scratched so easily for me too, like really easy. I don't know if just like the finish was soft, or like the anodization, the aluminum itself might have been soft. Yeah, it's so tough though. Like it's so tough to answer these questions. But we'll put some more thought into that. Olivia saying, should I try Jollibee? I don't know what that is. But yes, I mean, what could go wrong, right? It's a food place, right? I think it's like a restaurant. I'm assuming we're still talking about that. Boohoo Gland 2 asking, what is the best linear I can buy right now, including Novelkeys creams? Oh man, it kind of depends on what you value in a linear, but I think creams are definitely up there. That's going to be probably like a top 3 pick for me. Creams, retooled blacks, when you can get them for 20 cents each, I think are really, really good value. Like I said earlier, I think the TTC blacks, which are a little bit trickier to get hold of, I think you pretty much have to go through Taobao at the moment. Those are pretty cheap though. I think TTC blacks seem like they have a lot of potential. Helios, obviously quite a bit more expensive, but if you're looking for just the smoothest stock linear, I think Helios are probably the best thing you can get. You should definitely check out creams though. I think the Novelkeys creams are gonna surprise a lot of people.
Hello.
Hello, you're back.
Yes.
And you're a dog.
No, I have a dog, but I'm not a dog.
Nah, I'm pretty sure you're a dog.
Alright, dog.
Yeah, alright. So I'm gonna roll down a little bit more here. NGB is asking, how do they compare to JTK Topra sliders? I think he's referencing the Real Force RGB sliders earlier.
Everything is better than the JTK Topra sliders.
All right. Fair enough. Worst of the bunch. XBash001 is asking, how its video knob thing project going?
Slow, but I've ordered more things. I need to make some plans. But I have a friend actually maybe help me make a PCB instead of me hand wiring all the components. We will see. We will see.
Right. Sorry guys. Some of these tabs I have open. My man Mart subs with tier 1 for 8 months in a row. Thanks, my man Mart.
Thank you so much, Mart.
You are indeed my man. Meow Meow and Meow says necrodrama. Wow, a lot of people want us to talk about this necrodrama. I opened up the thread, but I haven't read any of it yet, so I don't know what's going on. If someone in the chat wants to give us a TLDR, feel free. Huangfu95 is asking, what's your most memorable I should have joined that group buy moment? Ooh, good one.
Most memorable would be I didn't join that group. I don't know. I don't really have many. Maybe like no, I don't know. That's kind of hard.
I should have joined that group buy. Huh. I feel like there is one. I feel like I should have joined the Mira group buy, but I'm not that butthurt about not joining it also. So I think I've joined most of the group buys that I wanted. Maybe I'm missing something. I feel like there's something I'm completely missing.
Could be.
There probably is. Probably is. Adam, I'm gonna skip that question. Sorry, bud. Meow Meow and Meow just subbed with Twitch Prime. Thanks, man. Meow to you as well. Blind Assassin 111 is asking, you talked about how to lube, but how do you unlube a switch? What's the best way to remove silicone greases / lubes? Wow, good question. The best way? Actually, I haven't tested this, but I've been thinking about trying to just throw it in my ultrasonic cleaner and kind of see what happens. Maybe with isopropyl, and then just rinse it. Maybe just like give it a rinse after. I don't know. That's pretty tough. I don't know. I've never had to unlube switches before, so I am actually not the best person to ask this right now. But this is something I will definitely look into, because that is a very, very, very valuable thing as well. Boohoo Gland 2 is asking, is Helios lubed also best? I mean, if you like smooth, Helios are very smooth, especially after you lube them. They're very smooth before you lube them, smooth after you lube them. So yeah. And this is something I put in my lube guide too. Like, usually, the better the switch is to start with, the better the switch is going to be after you lube it too. So that is a thing. Starston3 to sub with Twitch Prime. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you,
or madam. Thank you very much. NGV is asking, why the F aren't there any more good MX Chopra sliders? I don't know. What are the best ones? You had a video out, right?
Yeah,
talking about
I mean, Novatouch are the best, but like they're still like flawed. Like, there's no thing as like a good MX slider per se. There's just like ones that are better than others. Like, yeah, that's all. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Subnet is asking, in current year, do you want all new keyboards to have USB-C?
I mean, I want it, yes. Will it happen? No.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting more of them, you know? Like, it's becoming more of a thing. We're seeing a lot more USB-C than we were last year. So it's going. It's just slow. Amnesia's asking, other than Jane, what is your most anticipated upcoming keyboard, either announced or just teased?
Unigo 66.
Either announced or just teased, huh? Other than Jane. Why other than Jane? Is it because you know that I like that one? I like Jane. I think the #1 looks pretty interesting too.
Do you like the album songs about Jane?
What?
There's an album of music.
And the band is called something about Jane.
No, it's called Songs About Jane. It's an album by Maroon 5. Back in 2002.
I don't really listen to Maroon 5, so I was not aware of that. Most anticipated upcoming keyboard. Actually, randomly enough, I'm really looking forward to the Novelkeys 65%, even though it's going to be, you know, more like a budget option. I'm really excited to see like how much value it's actually going to have. So I'd say that. Blind Assassin says, try to lube my black Space Invaders and went a bit overboard on one of it, and it traps air and it's super heavy. Twas the reason. Oh, fair enough. I haven't even tried lubing Space Invaders, though I do have some. But they're a very open design, and it's kind of like, man, lubing that is scary because the way the switches are designed, like, dust will just go in there. Like, there's just nothing stopping it. So if you lube those, you're pretty much always going to get stuff stuck in the lube. That's just kind of the way I think it works with them. Dory says, Huey, can you tell Adam to sell me his CLS?
Adam, sell that person your CLS. Or don't. Or you can buy his FE.
Or you can buy his... He's just sold me M65 that he's been trying to sell for like 6 months. Because everyone wants Jane. Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. I haven't really heard a whole lot of people talking about it, but... yeah, fair enough. I want my QXP. That's what I want. Alright, we are caught up on questions. There we go. Very cool. So now's probably a good time to wrap things up, eh, Huey?
Yeah, it definitely is. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this wonderful episode of Top Clack. Thanks, Giorgio, for joining us this episode as well. Hope y'all are doing great. Thank you, everyone, so much for all of your subs and support. Every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Feel free to check out all of our links down below. Discord, YouTube, AOD on Podbean. You know how it is. You know how we stay in groovy. Check out all of our awesome content and check out all of our awesome sponsors. Hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful evening. Everyone, take care and stay classy.
Super classy.
Say bye to George.